Hello, hello, hello. Oh, Kara's not here. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Survivor Social, the Survivor podcast where we discuss Survivor with a focus on the social elements of the game. My name is Tegwyth, and as always, we are here with my incredible co-host, Kara. I cannot wait to break down this episode with you. Kara, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to talk about this episode. It was another good one. I have my Jelinski merch on, so I'm ready. It felt fitting for this episode. So I'm
Yes, I
ready.
love that. I love that you're repping Jelinski always. Incredible. Before we dig into the episode, as always, make sure to like and subscribe to Survivor Now, anywhere you're watching this, YouTube, Spotify, whatever it is. We love bringing this content to you, so make sure to hit that button. And as a reminder, we are live right now, and we are going to get to questions after our commercial later on in the episode. But if you have any questions, make sure to put them in the comments. We would love to talk about them with you. So, and then if you have anything to add to our conversation, make sure to add it too. I'm also live on TikTok, so we're global, everybody. But let's get into the episode. I want to first start off, Kara. What did you feel at the end of this episode? I know we normally start at the beginning, but I want to know what you felt at the end of this episode.
Oh my gosh. I was just like, I can't believe this happened again. That's like, I was just like so, like, I was unbelievable, honestly. I don't even have words.
Flabbergasted was the word that I had.
That's a good one.
I can't believe. I mean, and here's the thing. The thing that I had to remember is the idol. If you don't know what we're talking about, go watch the episode. But it's the fact that another person went home with an idol in their pocket. Daryl points out fourth time in a row. And the thing to remember is, I will say they didn't know Venus had an idol. So at least they only, and then obviously the other person who went home that people didn't know about, they didn't know that Jem had the idol. They had the idea, but they didn't know. So it's just crazy that like 3 out of the 5 people really didn't know about the idol. And yet they all
Yeah.
still went in their pocket. Like it's just absolutely bonkers, incredible. Someone on my TikTok live says the idol is cursed this season. Kara, do you think it's cursed?
Oh, it's definitely cursed. You do not want to find an idol. You want to just sit back at camp like this is doing and not look at all.
Literally,
Because it's not good.
you know, the thing that I heard was that the fact that Randon got medevaced with the Beware advantage was the thing that cursed the idol. That's what somebody's like theory was for this season, which I mean, I have nothing to prove that wrong. So
I
then it
think it's
must be
valid.
true.
Yeah.
Right? Right?
I think that's a good theory.
I mean, I forget who said that. So if you're the one that said that, make sure to claim credit because it wasn't me. Somebody else said it. But I just definitely think that like that must be what it is.
I think so.
Right. All right, let's
It
go
would
to the
make
start.
sense.
It would make sense, right? Let's go to the start of the episode. I want to start off by talking about the fact that Q misspelled Venus's name, and this was like a topic of conversation. Venice, I believe, is how he spelled it, which, you know, that's okay. At least he got it close. Ben spelled Venus Kenzie.
Yeah, and he spelled Kenzie wrong.
And he spelled Kenzie wrong. And he spelled Kenzie wrong. Were you one of the people, I mean, we talked about this a little last week with Brian, but were you one of the people who really thought that this was like a strategy on Ben's part?
I was so confused by it that I thought it had to be a strategy because what other reason would he vote for Kenzie? You know, it just didn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
So there
And
had to be something else, you know?
I mean, we hoped. It's giving when we thought Hugh was like saying that he quit and he was actually playing like 4D chess when he really was going to quit, or really wanted to quit. I just was just shocked by that because I can't remember another time in Survivor where it was an actual mistake and not like a played off mistake. Because I genuinely believe that this was a mistake by Ben. The way that he said it in the confessionals made me think that he just had a brain fart. Because I got into you do. Oh, okay, you agree? Because I got into a little debate with somebody in the comments of my TikTok video, and someone was like, "No, Ben is playing like he's playing that 4D chess right now, and he's even lying to us."
I don't think why would he lie to us, you know? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, what is the benefit to lying to the producers, lying to us about it? Like, I
Yeah.
get it when Danny Boatwright did it in Guatemala, but, like, nowadays, I don't know. I think it just helps your
Mm.
edit if you were to just say why, you know?
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
it's so funny how he did, like, come back and he was like, "I gotta tell you, like, it was me, like, it was a mistake." And I have, like, been seeing people saying, like, about the Q thing in this, how, like, after every episode, everyone's thinking so, like, in detail about, like, "Oh, they did this because they're really gaming hard," and then the episode airs and it's like, "Oh, mistake, like, I actually didn't do it." It's so funny how that keeps happening.
What's that law in physics that's, like, the most simple answer is usually the correct answer? There's, like, a law in physics,
Yeah.
and that's what 46 is giving. It's giving, like, the simplest answer, the most straightforward answer is actually the answer, and we are giving them a lot of the benefit of the doubt over here on the couch
Yeah.
side of things. Which I'm
It's probably so
honestly
funny for them to see it.
right? Right? Like, if I'm Q watching people being
Mhm.
like, I wonder why he did that. He's really like Q is really playing 4D chess, pretending that he quit. And I'm just Q is sitting there like in a week, they're gonna find out that um I did that because I wanted to quit. Like it's just so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, Izzy in the comments on TikTok says it's Occam's razor. Thank you, Izzy. I knew that was a thing. Um, I want to point out something really quickly that Daryl said, and I actually had in my notes because I think it's an incredible survivor quote. Q said in the first 5 minutes of this episode, Q goes, they say you can see Venus from Earth, but we don't see Venus no more from this camp. That's exactly what he said. Here's the thing. Are you going to miss Q after this episode? Because I think I will.
Yeah.
He's just good TV. Oh, did we lose Kara? I think we might have lost Kara. I'm very excited to
Can
see
you
if
see
she
me?
thinks. Oh, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay. I don't know what happened.
LOL. I was like, "Oh my god, she's really keeping us on the edge of our seats." No, whether or not she's like a Q, like loves Q on TV, she's really keeping us engaged, or like on the edge of our seats. So do you think that like did you think he was like a good character on TV? Did you like watching him? Or were you like he was kind of
Mhm.
annoying and I didn't really enjoy watching him?
You know, I kinda went back and forth with him. In the beginning, I wasn't the biggest Q fan, and then, like, as it went on, post him, like, trying to quit, then I kinda was, like, coming around to Q. I don't know why, but, like, towards the end, my opinion changed of him, and I think he was such fun TV. He was like, the things he would do were just unbelievable. Like the
Yeah.
Q skirt, come on.
And the fact that Q skirt is still like a topic of conversation is absolutely incredible. Like somebody wrote it, I wrote it down. Somebody wrote Charlie voted Q skirt when he wrote down
Yeah.
his name. So I love that it's still a topic of conversation. Here's the thing about I have a
Mhm.
theory about what you just said of like people not really loving someone in the beginning and then like getting to like really enjoy them as television by the end. I think at the beginning of Survivor season, everybody's expectations are astronomically high. We want it to be the best season ever every single time. And that goes for all of
Mhm.
the players. Like we really want the players to be the most strategic, the most like the smartest people, like the best social strategy, like all of that stuff. And then when it doesn't happen, we are like, wow, I don't like this. Maybe not hate. I don't like this. I don't really enjoy what's going on. But then as the seasons keeps going and we're kind of in the groove of Survivor, we get to just enjoy it as entertainment and we get to enjoy it as television. And I think that that's when we start enjoying characters a little bit more as like a whole.
Mhm.
Obviously, I'm not speaking for everybody because a lot of people have a lot of different opinions. But I think for me, I've noticed this about myself this season where I really want Survivor to be the best season ever every single season. And when it's not, because
Mhm.
it's never going to be in the first 2 episodes, um, I get disappointed. And then that disappointment goes on to all of the players. And then when I finally like let go of that baggage, I start to enjoy the season and also the players in turn. Do you ever feel like that happens to you
Yeah.
a little bit?
Yeah, totally. I feel like once you, like, realize, like or, like, once it's just like, "You know what? This is entertainment. This is a show." Like, you take it for what it is, then you enjoy it more, and you just it is what it is, you know? Like, not everything is gonna be the best thing ever, but I think this season is great. I don't think everyone thinks that, but I'm loving it. I'm loving the
Yeah,
drama. I'm loving it. Like, I think
it's
everyone is a
incredible.
great character on this season.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Daryl agrees. Daryl says Q gave this season so much life. And I mean, imagine this season without Q narrating hide and seek. Imagine this season without Q laughing
Yeah.
about getting pizza. You know what I mean? I can't. He's an incredible character. He's so much fun to watch. And I would even argue that I bet you the contestants who are watching this also, the players who maybe didn't love playing with him, I bet you that they're enjoying watching him back because that's how fun he is,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm. Totally. He how can you not? He really provided so much good content, and not even like, also, like, the fact that we started with Banu giving us so much in those first few episodes, and then the shift into Q being such a huge character after that, it's just it's crazy.
It's out of this world, and I just think that, I think that, casting gets a lot of heat a lot of the time, especially from last season with a couple people quitting, but I think that this is a season that really shows that casting knows what they're doing because they cast characters. For example, Liz is not even a super fan. Like her daughter, she said this episode, her daughter dared her to apply and she considered herself a casual before she went on the show. She had no idea this community existed. And I think that that shows that they're bringing in fun people because they're going to be fun people and I absolutely love that for us,
Mhm.
for the show, for casting. I just think that cuz I love Liz. How are you feeling about Liz, Kara?
Yeah, no, I love her too. Like, even in the beginning, I felt like, "Oh, like, this like, she's not gonna be like" I don't know. I feel like I didn't have high expectations, but now, like, she's great. Like, she's providing so much for us.
She's
Like,
providing the
she's
toe
great
pointing,
casting.
the toe pointing from Liz this episode where she is using
Wobbly.
her foot to figure her way through the maze, which is so real. Like I am a tactile
Mhm.
person too, so I am that I get that. But then she goes, "Oh, I'm bleeding." Like it's just so funny, right?
She's great.
She's
Everyone like,
great.
literally everyone is great.
It's so much fun. I'm just having so much fun this season. I'm just smiling from ear to ear all the time.
Mhm.
Um,
So sad it's
you know
coming to
who's
an end so soon.
No, I don't wanna talk about it. I'm so sad. Um, okay, but you know who's not smiling ear to ear at the beginning of this episode? Maria. Maria is
Mm,
very upset at Venus because she felt like Venus was dragging her name through the mud.
yeah.
Um, I didn't realize that that would affect Maria so much. And it really did affected her. We saw a very emotional side of Maria this episode, one that I think that we really haven't seen so far this season, right?
Yeah, no, I was surprised at how upset she was about that. I didn't really expect that. I didn't think that would be something that we'd see coming into this episode,
Same.
but
And you know what I think
yeah.
it was? I really think it was just the fact that Venus Venzi. Oh my God. I called him Ben. I said Venzi. That really just happened.
Renzi.
I'm not even sleeping on an island. I'm literally drinking a poppy right now. And I just said Venzi. Oh my God. The survivor brain is real, even though I'm not on Survivor. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I do think that maybe Venus hit a sore spot in Maria because I feel like that kind of
Mhm.
reaction doesn't come unless you really felt some kind of way about the decision you made or how you made it. And I think, I
Mhm.
think maybe she was feeling a little bit insecure about it. I mean, I don't want to put that on her, but that's just kind of what I thought. And I don't hate Maria as much as a lot of people do for that decision. I have never had to make that tough a decision before. And I do think that it was a difficult decision for her. But I do think that that was a very wild moment in terms of the grand scheme of things of Survivor. But I do think that that kind of reaction comes from somebody who is feeling a little bit insecure or self-conscious about the decision or about how the decision was made. What do you think about that, Kara?
Yeah, definitely, because that whole thing was such, like, a big moment, I feel like everyone there was like, "Why did you pick you? Like, how could you do that? How could you not pick Liz?" And, like, and then for Venus to, like, talk about it and say what she said, whatever, I feel like that definitely she was probably thinking, "Oh my god, like, I made such a bad decision," like,
Yeah.
it probably was just, like, overload of emotions at that moment because, because everyone's saying you did the wrong thing, but you think you did the right thing, and then,
Yeah. I think
I'm
this
sure
just
there was
goes to show that,
stress.
like, every single person has their own perspective. Survivor
Mhm,
does nothing if not remind people that everybody has their own reasoning for things. Everybody does something because of what they bring to the table. And I think this is another example of, like, people do things because you think it's right in the moment and maybe it's not, you know what I mean? So it's very interesting. Um,
yeah.
Now, I also want to talk about, you have these emotions stripped down. I said Venzi earlier, but we see Ben having these night terrors again, or just having really a lot of
Mhm.
trouble at night. He said he was traumatized from a camping trip when he was a teenager. And it's just like Kenzie gets up and like walks with him and talks with him. It's very interesting to see this kind of trouble this far into the season. I feel like we don't really see that
Mhm.
often.
Yeah, I was getting nervous when they were talking about Ben when showing Ben and his night terrors and everything. I was thinking, "Oh my god, is he gonna get medevaced or is he gonna leave?" I was nervous that that's where this was going, and I did not want that to be the case. But I feel so bad that, like, he's going through this out like, it can't be easy, but thank God he has Kenzie there to really be that support for him. I can't even
Exactly.
imagine.
Yeah, and I really genuinely think like that is such a you know, I mean, just very recently, I took a very weird trip. I was gone for like 9 days and I had all of this crazy travel that I had to do. I was in New Orleans and Atlanta and Chicago over 9 days. And when I got back, so last Thursday was the day I got back, and I just felt like I was in a brain fog all day because I had just been traveling, right? And the
Mhm,
fact that I felt like this kind of brain fog affected me this much, imagine also not eating, also, being outside all the time. Like I think we forget like how and I think my big thing I try to remind people like we don't know what it's like because I mean just they are stripped down as literally
mhm.
but also not literally, and it's just so interesting to see. And I was also nervous that he was going to be medevaced.
Mhm.
I really happy that didn't happen, and I really hope it doesn't happen this close to the end. But I genuinely feel like I was worried about him getting medevaced. I also want to say Kenzie playing a great social game. You know what I mean? Like, she just, like she Kenzie's playing such a good social game, and I don't think she's doing this because of a social game. I do think she's doing this because
Right.
that's the kind of person she is. She's a kind person, she's a generous person, she wants to make sure everyone's okay. Um, but it won't hurt if she gets a final tribal council and Ben is sitting there over there on the jury, and he goes, "That person took
Mhm.
care of me when I was having night terrors, and she got up with me, and she walked with me." Um, and it's inadvertent jury management just because you're nice.
Yeah, and you can even see in her confessional when she was talking about it, you could see her getting emotional talking about Ben, like, going through this and everything, so I definitely think she's doing it not not for the game, just human to human, but definitely won't hurt if he's on the jury and she's in the end.
Exactly. Daryl said that Kenzie has Ben's jury vote. I kind of agree with that, even though he
Yeah.
and Charlie are really close. I do just think that like that kind of bond is going to be really big. I also want to point out Kenzie
Mhm.
even said in her confessional, it's just a game, which it's true. It's just a
Yeah.
game. And she wants to be here for that person on a human level, which I think is so important. But it also, that's what Survivor is happening 24/7. So even if you're being with somebody on a human level to take care of them, that goes towards your social game in the end. It's a
Yeah.
very weird, diabolical, weird game.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
S speaking of a 24/7 game, Liz pooped.
Finally.
Finally. It happened. Big news. I mean, I was at Crystal Lake last night, which is a watch party in Brooklyn. It's free for anyone who
Hmm.
wants to go. Ton of fun, a lot of really incredible people there. Um, the cheers that Liz got when she said Ida BM. I mean, you would have thought somebody won the Super Bowl. You would have thought that somebody there won the lottery. Like we were screaming so much for this woman to poop.
That's amazing. I saw her tweet. She wrote like something like she got rid of her number two and Maria's number two in one episode. I was like, that's so funny.
Incredible. That's so good. That is so good. I wish I would have seen that tweet. That's incredible. Um, and she goes, and one of my favorite lines, she goes, I have nothing to weigh me down now.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's ready to play.
it must feel incredible. I mean, when I dog walk a Chihuahua and when that Chihuahua poops, you should see the running and zoomies that Chihuahua gets. I can't imagine what 23 days does. The zoomies Liz got. Oh man.
And then she was ready to go on that reward, you know? Like she
It was like, I've got
she
all
went,
this
she was ready
space
for that Chinese
now.
food.
I can fill up with actual food.
Yeah.
Okay, I do also want to talk about how I want to go back a little bit to the mistaken Kenzie vote. Um,
Mhm.
because even though Ben admitted that it was a mistaken Kenzie vote, um, Ben did say maybe we can use this to our advantage because maybe Maria and Q think that there's now this wedge between Ben and Charlie. Do you think that this is something between Ben, Kenzie, and Charlie? Pardon me. Do you think this is something that they
Mhm.
could actually pick up on? What are your thoughts on this, potential wedge?
Yeah, I thought when they showed him saying that and they were talking about it, I thought that would have came into play more into this episode and maybe we would have seen like Kenzie going home or something like that. But I think like playing into the mistake could be beneficial, especially now going into this next episode with Maria and everything on the outs. I feel like it could be a good way to maybe blindside someone.
Exactly. Or also, being able to Ben really we haven't seen him have a lot of strategic capital in the game, making big
Mhm.
moves. We haven't really seen a ton of that. Maybe this could be the way he uses Maria to get somebody else out. I don't
Yeah.
want to say Kenzie because I want to keep Kenzie in the game, but you know what I mean? Like it could be an interesting way to make this kind of move. Again, I don't want that to happen, but it would be interesting if it did.
Right. Totally. This could be Ben's moment, an accident, a happy accident.
Happy accident. Maybe, maybe. Um, okay, we go to the reward challenge. Is this one of the first like actual reward challenges we have in this season? We had this season.
I feel like we've had so many reward challenges.
Really? I feel like this was the only one that was like reward only and not like immunity also. Because Maria's last week
Oh,
was immunity
I
also. I feel like
oh,
this
that's
is like
true.
one of like a couple standalone just only rewards.
That's true. I feel like this season, I don't know why, I feel like they've been having so many rewards, like, even if it is combined with immunity, I just feel like I don't know why, I'm just like, "Oh, wow, another reward."
I know.
Maybe that's just
Let me
me,
ask you
but I don't
this.
know.
What is the reward that you would wanna
Yeah.
win most? And I mean, like, food reward. Would you want the pizza? Would you want the Applebee's? What is the one that, like, is calling to you the most?
I think I would have wanted the Applebee's
Yeah?
for sure.
I
What
think
about
the
you?
Applebee's probably would have been incredible. I feel like this is a close second, though. The
Yeah,
Chinese takeout, like, looked so good. And
I agree.
famously
When Jeff said it was Chinese, I was like, "Oh,
I
okay.
know, sign me up. It, like,
Sounds
literally looks
good."
so good. Well, Charlie wins. And
Mhm.
Charlie is saying, like, at the beginning, I was going to pick Liz and Kenzie because we did not go on the pizza reward. But then we hear Jeff Probst saying, but actually, there's a little more to the story. It's also going to be letters from home. So take that into account when you are choosing people. Do you think that Charlie should have switched up who he chose?
No, I don't think so. I think he did the right thing picking Liz and Kenzie. Yeah.
I totally agree. And I agree for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think it was fair in terms of food. I do think that the love letters, the
Mhm.
letters from home was like a nice little bonus. But I just think in terms of like acting fair, can you imagine if he had cut out Liz again?
No, that would've been crazy if he cut her
That,
out again.
that would
Like,
have been
she
absurd.
needed this, she needed to go on this one.
I feel like I needed it
Yeah.
for Liz. Like it
Yeah.
was I just Liz needed that, right? But also I think it's good for his game in the
Yeah.
long term because his
Mhm.
game, right, is so closely tied to Maria's. I think it's very silly for him to want to go to the end with her because he has given her the credit for a bunch of stuff multiple times.
Right.
And if you're sitting at the end with someone that you have given credit or you've given like them and all of the moves that you've done together, you gave that credit to her. I feel like it's going to be a very difficult uphill battle to show people like, no, I actually did that. Because everyone's like, well, why did you tell us
Mhm.
all that she did it? You know?
Yeah. Do you think that Maria is really, like, fully, completely behind all these moves, or do you think it's Charlie's social dynamics with everyone else that's really, like, the driving force to get everything done? Or do you think Maria is just as social, or just maybe not seeing it as much?
I think Charlie is gonna be the more social of the 2, but I think the issue here it's like I think Charlie's game is giving Carolyn in the way that we are seeing what he is
Mm.
doing. We are getting the outline, we are getting the background, we are getting it all, right? The behind the scenes. But what Maria and
Mhm.
Charlie are both doing is saying like, "This was my move, I did that." And Charlie's going, "Yes, you did. Good job, good job." And I worry what the jury is seeing, what the players are seeing because
Right.
perception is reality. And so while I do think that like for example, I think like if you're even going way back to Siga, I think Charlie saved Ben 100%. I think without Ben and Charlie's
Yeah.
bond, Ben would have been gone and I think that Maria would have voted with Jem and Mo. So I think that
Mhm.
like I do think you're right. I think Charlie is the one with a social, but is are the players seeing that? You know what I mean?
True. Yeah. I feel like they're not giving Charlie as much credit, so they're probably not seeing it, and it seems like the producers or the editors, whatever, want, like, maybe if he gets to the end, he doesn't win, they want us to be like, "Oh, he was robbed, like, he deserved this, he didn't deserve to lose," type of thing.
Yeah. He could also go out on fire, you know what
Mhm.
I mean? Like, maybe it's like the
Yeah.
fallen angel trope where it's giving Jesse, you know, where we all were like, "Oh my god, we love Jesse. Like, I can't believe," and then he goes out
Mhm.
on fire, and we're all like, "No!" Like, it could be that,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh my god, could you imagine Charlie and Maria in Fire? That would be
Oh my
crazy.
giving Sarah, Lucina, and Tony, but better.
Yeah.
Right? Right?
That would be, yeah. Oh my
It'd be
gosh.
crazy. It'd be crazy.
That would be
Well, we go to the sanctuary where good things happen, and this time I actually think it was a good thing, not like a neutral thing. Um, Liz was so happy she was picked. She's so happy that she
Mhm.
gets to work with people, that people wanna work with her. She finally feels like she's being seen, and I can't imagine what it would be like to go this long in the game and not feel like you're being picked and not feel like you're being included on things. I mean, we've heard it from Venus, we've heard it from Liz. Like this game is tough, but it's tough physically, but it's also really tough mentally. And I think that this gave
Mhm.
Liz a boost in terms of her like
Yeah.
social game, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. I think you could just even tell, like, in this episode, the way that Liz is with, like, Kenzie and Charlie and Ben, how, like, it's kinda different than we've seen in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and I just felt like I could see not only did she lose 5 pounds, but I do feel like, when she was
Mhm.
chosen, a weight was kinda taken off of her shoulders, and she was just, like, able to
Yeah.
eat food and also able to just, like, talk strategy, with people who she felt like actually wanted to talk strategy with her, which I think could
Mhm.
be a turning game in her or a turning point in her game. Not sure that she's gonna win the whole thing, but I do I could see, like, an upturn right now.
I agree. I think she's definitely gonna be sitting in the final 3.
You think so?
I think so. I think she'll be there.
My current conspiracy theory is that she goes out at fire or wins fire because last episode there was a very
Oh.
prolonged, was it last episode? I think it was last episode. Very prolonged shot of the fire in her glasses. And I know that we've gotten that a couple of times this season, but
Ooh.
I just feel like it's so close to the end that that was like the foreshadowing moment. I don't know.
Oh my god, it would be so good if she wins fire, that would be so exciting.
That's so good. Wouldn't that be
Not
so
loses,
good?
I don't want her to go out. That
I know
would
I
be
don't want.
great.
Well, at least she's been in every single episode,
It's
or she
true.
will be in every single episode,
Yeah.
even if she's not in the whole thing.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so I also want to talk about Charlie not choosing Maria. We heard a little bit about, Charlie talking about like I was going in choosing these two other people. I knew this, but we also hear later that Maria said that they both discussed this, and if the either one of them wins reward, they're not going to choose the other person, which I think is a great decision to have with your number one because you want somebody to be on at one person at both places to know what's going on, one person at both places to look for an idol. You
Mhm.
have your troops evenly spread out. But I believe that Charlie not choosing Maria for the loved ones, even if she doesn't admit it, I believe that this what was the thing that spurred her to try to go after Charlie. Even if it was like this very small thing in the back of her head, I just think that like it kind of gave her the okay, go ahead to go do this.
I agree. I definitely think this was a turning point in their relationship, 'cause e before this, we've never heard her t about targeting Charlie, and then this happens, and she's like, "You know what? Maybe this is the time to target him." I
Yep.
definitely think that was part of it, for sure.
And I mean, she was upset. And I just want to give props to the editors during this moment. We go from the reward to Maria bawling her eyes out to the reward to Maria and Q talking. I just think the editing was incredible.
Mhm.
But I mean, she was really crying and she said, I understand why Charlie chose the way he chose, and she even said, something died in me today. Like,
Mhm.
you don't say something died in me today unless you truly unless you truly feel upset or mad, even if you don't want to admit it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely wanted to be on that reward so bad, but, like, how can you really be mad at Charlie for not taking you, you know? Like, you made this decision to not take each other. She didn't take him on the last one, and then, I don't know, it would've just been so I feel like it would've been so random if he did end up, like, taking her over like, imagine if he took her over Liz. I feel like that would've been so chaotic.
It would have been so chaotic, and I just don't think it would have been good for him or honestly for Maria. And
No.
Maria ended up on the wrong
Yeah.
side of the road tonight, but like it's I understand why she feels the way she feels. She really wanted this reward. But like and I don't want this to sound mean or weird or any kind of way, but the way I feel about Maria being upset about not getting this reward is very, very similar to the way I felt when Liz was upset when she didn't win the Applebee's reward and she didn't get chosen on that reward.
Mhm.
It's like I get why she feels like that. I understand the emotions there. Um, but you know, you kind of also have to look at it in the bigger picture. You voted for Q, Liz. I understand why he didn't want to bring you on the thing. So it's just a
Yeah.
very interesting dynamic, and I, it's kind of one of the reasons why I'm like, don't win rewards. Like, if you can throw it, try to throw it.
Yeah, and, I almost kind of forgot even about the letters and things like that. I completely kind of didn't even think of it going into this episode that that might be part of it.
I totally forgot about that too. And I don't know that we'll ever
I
truly
yeah.
understand unless we go out there, like, how important these letters are, but in from the couch, from the view of the couch, you've been out there probably, what, a week for press, plus 25-ish days, so a little bit over 30-ish days away from, any kind of contact from your family or friends, but you also only have like 3 or 4
Mhm.
days left. And so
Yeah.
from my little cushy view from the couch, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Like it wouldn't like change the game for me. But then also, I don't know if you listened to On Fire with Jeff Probst. Dee talked about how she truly believes that getting those letters is why she won. So
Mm.
it's very interesting on how important those letters are to the players out there, where from this view over here, very cushy, comfortable in my nice little apartment, doesn't seem that important.
Mhm.
But I
Yeah, and
also
it's kind of interesting also how yeah, like, how, like, they don't all just get their letters, like, used when they used to bring, like, people from home, like, the loved ones, everyone got to see their loved one, even if it was for a little bit, but now, like, only certain people get the letters if you win the reward, which I think is interesting how they switched that up.
great observation. And they also used to do this back in the day where it used to be video messages and everyone could see a small snippet of the video
Mhm.
message. Um, I feel like they should bring back video messages. Partner with Zoom, partner with Skype,
Yeah.
do a video message if you're not gonna bring them out there. Just like I'd be like, "Oh, this is my so and so," and everyone can kinda see them. It humanizes everybody for a second, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that I would like that if they did that instead of the letters, because the letters are just, like it's a little lackluster, the letters, at least just watching it.
Yeah, if you think about it from a TV perspective, I think it's very silly that they do letters because, yes, it's something
Mhm.
that they can hold and
Yeah.
touch, but, like, the viewers, which is why you're doing this show, is that so that the viewers enjoy things. We don't get any enjoyment out of this other than watching somebody be, upset, happy, cry, happy tears, show us a thing. We don't really get to see it all, hear it all, whereas a video is a
Mhm.
video. You can watch that.
Yeah, we can see who we're talking about and things like that. I feel
Yeah.
like that'd be a nice little addition. They
I
should bring that
agree.
back.
Bring that back. Bring that back. Good. Cara, great observation. And now I am super pro bringing back videos. Um, Speaking of
Yeah.
which, we got to hear a little bit about Kenzie and Charlie's like actual home life. We got to hear a little about Liz with the Applebee's,
Mhm.
but we haven't really heard about Kenzie and Charlie. We hear that Kenzie moved her wedding to be on Survivor.
Yeah.
Cara, would you
That's
move your wedding?
crazy, the fact that yeah. I mean, yes.
I would too.
I mean, if you're gonna be on Survivor, like, you can change the wedding to you can push it back a little bit. You can
Yeah,
push it back a month.
yeah. Agreed. Agreed. But I loved hearing about, the people from back home. We got to see Kenzie's now husband's
Yeah.
photo, now the father of her child, which I thought was like so cute and so nice. And then we got to see a little
Mhm.
bit about Charlie's girlfriend, got to see a photo of them together. Like I love when we get to see this
Yeah.
side of our contestants out there on Survivor.
Mhm, me too. It's nice seeing a look into their lives, and we even got um, like a what is it called? Like, of Kenzie when they show, like, a little backstory type thing for
Mhm.
her, backstory,
Yep.
which we haven't
Daryl.
been getting too many
No, we
of.
haven't. We haven't gotten any. And I think that Daryl has a great point here. Daryl goes, Kenzie got that winning edit this episode.
Mhm.
Charlie getting the I'm so close to winning, I want to win, and then not getting the winner edit. I think is a great,
Yeah,
interesting observation. Um,
definitely.
okay. So at the reward, they talk about how Maria is quote unquote unstoppable. Um, she's good at fire. She's really good at these challenges. Do you actually think if Maria didn't win the challenge, she would be the one going home?
I do. I think so. Well, I guess would Q have played the idol? No, I don't think so. I think she would have gone if she didn't win. I think so.
You think because I don't think that they would have let Q in on the vote. Um,
Yeah.
and I genuinely think they would have gone after Maria if they could have.
Yeah, I think had she have not won immunity, she would have left this episode.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
But she does end up winning immunity.
Yeah.
Uh,
The
and
third.
her third, she's one away from winning 4. which is incredible. And she says that not getting the reward was the fire she needed to win that immunity. So that's a very interesting thing. I think that either way, it would have encouraged her, whether it be getting the reward and getting to hear from her kids, or not getting the reward and not getting to hear from her kids. I think we're different motivators, but both motivators nonetheless.
Yeah. I
Oops.
mean, it worked out for her because she needed to win it and she won. So maybe not going on the reward was the best thing for her.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Before we get to the immunity challenge, though, everybody out there on the island is looking for an idol. Ben is looking for an idol. Q is looking for an idol, and Maria is looking for an idol. And we see Q find the idol and immediately tell Maria.
Oh my God, I couldn't believe he told her.
And you know what's funny? This time really didn't affect it. Honestly,
Yeah.
him telling Maria about the idol almost saved him. I feel like this is one of the first times that actually sharing the information was almost better for you.
That's good.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
sure.
Go ahead.
The outcome could have been different. Like, she knew that he was getting votes, so she probably should have pushed him a little more to use it in the end, but it didn't really, it built more trust between them, so I think that was good.
Yeah, I agree. I do think the players on this season need to hear the phrase, "A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush." And what that means is something that you have right now and can use right now is a lot more valuable than something that you might be able to use in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Play your dang idols, please. It's crazy.
Oh my, yeah.
But here's the thing. I will say this is the one time I do think that sharing your idol information did not hurt him. I do think it would have helped him. And I want to say huge, huge props to Kenzie, to Liz, and maybe to Ben. I didn't really see a conversation between Ben and Maria, but the reason why Maria didn't tell Q to play the idol is because even though she knew that Charlie was voting for Q, she truly believed that Liz, at least Liz and Kenzie, were voting with her. And I'm guessing that she thought that she had been in her pocket. And that is good deception and good social wherewithal, social know-how, in my opinion. I think that was incredible on both of their parts.
Yeah, they played that so well, just going along with the Charlie thing, and she had no idea. No idea. I'm curious to know if they told Charlie at any point.
Oh, Carrie, I lost you there.
Oh,
I lost you there. Can you
I was
restate? Can you say the
curious.
question?
Yeah, I'm curious to know if at any point, if Liz and Kenzie told Charlie that he would be getting votes, like if he knew that that was possibility going into it.
I would guess yes. Because I would guess, because like he doesn't have an idol, right?
Mhm.
I would guess, like, what is the harm in telling him versus what is the harm of not telling him? And I think the harm of not telling him is greater. But
Yeah.
I don't think we saw that in the episode. I don't think we saw a moment where they were like, okay, you're going to get some votes.
Mhm. Maybe they
So
want to spook him.
that is also true. You wouldn't want to spook somebody, but yeah, I don't know. I would love to know if that is the case. So if anybody who's on the season is watching this, why would they be watching this? If I were them, I would not be watching this. I would be having a nice little slumber right now. Let us know if Charlie time. Okay, so the challenge happens. Like I say, Maria wins. I call it the Lisa Frank challenge. Somebody tweeted that, and I was like, that does look like a Lisa Frank dolphin. Incredible.
It did.
And Charlie has a great quote. You know, he wanted to go for Maria, and when they're all walking off, Charlie goes, "This is Survivor, and we have to adapt, and we have to adapt what is the next best thing for me, and that would be going for Q." And I think that He hit the nail on the head. On Survivor, you must adapt because you never know what's going to
Mhm.
happen. You never know what production is going to throw at you. You never know what your other contestants are going to throw at you. And so adapting is everything. And I think that he definitely hit the nail on the head. And I think he adapted very well. Got out her number 2.
Yeah, no, he did everything perfectly. He couldn't get Maria, so he went for the next best thing, and that was Q, and that's who went home.
Exactly. Now, here's the thing. Maria obviously voted for Charlie. Do you see a world in which Maria and Charlie work together at all next episode?
Oh my gosh. No, I think it's gonna be so awkward now back at camp. No, because she also didn't need to really vote for him. Like, if Q played the idol for himself, Charlie would have been gone. So, like, she didn't need to do that. So I feel like that was just kind of like, I feel like it's gonna be weird. I feel like he's not gonna be happy about it. And I don't think he needs her now. He
No.
has other people he can work with that are clearly working with him.
I don't love to compare players that often, especially players from different seasons, but I do think that we saw something kind of similar to this last season where the
Mm.
vote was going to be Julie and Dee goes, "I don't want it to be you." She doesn't vote. She votes for Julie. But she knows Julie has an idol. And so am I right in saying this, and then Julie plays the idol and Emily goes
Oh,
home?
yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
an
Mhm.
incredible move with that keeps your bonds. She didn't have to turn on anybody. She told Julie what was going on. She told everyone what was going like she told her the information. She used
Mhm.
that in her final tribal council being like, "I knew that vote. You thought I was on the wrong side of the vote. Haha, I wasn't." The reason why she was still in was
Yeah.
because I told her that. And I don't love to compare, but it's a very similar situation where we could have seen Maria go, you're it's gonna be you. I think your name is out there. I think you should play the idol. And I think you should vote for Charlie and let's see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, it'd be interesting how she plays this now, but I don't know. If she would have told Charlie, "I'm voting for you," that would have been different. But I definitely don't think she did, seeing how she was talking about it.
Yep, yep. I
Yeah.
agree. Daryl thinks that Maria is too big of a threat to keep at this point. Besides Charlie, it is Maria winning the challenges. I mean, you're not wrong. I do
Yeah.
think she's a big challenge threat. And I think that she's made a couple moves that she can be like at Final Tribal Council, be like, guys, I made these moves,
Mhm.
and everyone knows that she did. So
Yeah. She's definitely a big player.
big player, big player. So we get back to camp after the challenge. Kenzie goes, Q, Q. And she's ready to take down King Q. I thought it was very funny that everyone kept referring to him as King Q because I don't really think I saw him as the king of anything per se. He just, was,
Yeah.
you know, dodging hits left, right, and center. Um, but like I said, it ends up that Q does go home. Maria says you don't need to play your idol. You might be getting a vote. He got more than one vote, and he does end up going home with an idol in his pocket for the fourth time in a row.
Insane. I was really thinking when he found it that this might be the idol that is played correctly. Like, if anyone's gonna do it, it's Q.
If anyone is going to do it as Q, what is Ponderosa like?
Oh
Because
my god.
Hunter goes out. Hunter's like, "Oh man, I can't believe I had this idol. Darn." Tiffany goes out.
Mhm.
Hunter, you and I both had idols. That's crazy. I can't believe we both went out. Oh man. And then Venus goes and she goes, "Guys, you're never going to believe this. Never going to believe this. You had an idol. You had an idol. Guess what? I had an idol. It's crazy." Q goes, "Guys, you're never going to believe this. I had an idol." And then Venus is like, "No way.
Mhm.
I had an idol." And I feel like they're just in this club. They don't even I bet you they don't even regret it. I bet you they're like, "We are in a
Yeah.
club together. We can commiserate together. Misery loves company."
Mhm. Like, now you just wanna have an idol and go home with it in your pocket so you
Yeah.
can be part of this little club of not
Yeah.
of going home
Does
with an idol in
Venus
your pocket.
not Venus. Does Soda feel left out? Because she is the
I
only
know.
one at Ponderosa without an idol in her. Oh, I guess Tevin didn't have an idol, but Tevin did have a
He had an
vote.
extra vote.
So he still went
Yeah.
home with an advantage in his pocket.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh
It's
my God.
it's so crazy. We kinda mentioned a little bit, but I also love how, like, no one really knows for sure that these people are going home with an idol in their pocket,
Truly.
which I think just adds to it, and it's just amazing.
It's it's incredible. It is incredible. All right. So at tribal council, we see Q go home. We see oh wait, I also want to say, is Kenzie the only person in the world that can compare people to your hold on, what does she say? She says your cynical grandma and a dog, and
Mhm.
everybody
A
laughs. Is
dog.
she the person that can get away with that?
I know. I think so. I think it works for Kenzie.
It works for Kenzie. I
And
mean,
even,
she
like, saying Maria was, like, the aunt, I was like, "Oh, that's different." You would think she would have said, like, the mom.
Mom. No, she steered clear of mom and dad. She said brother, brother, aunt,
Yeah,
cynical grandma, dog. And
dog.
Jenny from the talk over here on TikTok says she's not wrong though. And honestly, um,
Not wrong.
she's not wrong. Um, okay, so I do also want to talk about another thing. Kenzie's looks incredible at Tribal Council. She could fit
Oh
in
my
like
god,
Shayla's
yeah.
hair, like the musical hair. She just like looked like a hippie through and through. Incredible.
Mhm. She slays every single tribal council.
She does. It's like her job. She's like, my job now is to slay Tribal Council, both by voting
Yeah.
correctly and also by look.
Mhm.
And she
And
does
she
it. And
is.
she does
She's killing it.
it. So I also want to bring up, um, they show everybody's vote. Charlie
Yeah.
votes Q skirt. Kenzie votes Q. Liz votes Quintavious, which is his real name. Ben votes Q niece. And then Q votes Charlie and Maria votes Charlie. And can I admit something to you, Cara? Just you and me, between you and me?
Mhm.
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice it because
Oh.
I was taking reaction videos to be like, who do you think's going home of all of these people? And I was not watching the TV because usually I'll just like watch it later. And I was shocked
Mhm.
when he got voted out because I didn't know where the votes were going because I totally missed it.
That's so
Went right over my
funny.
head.
Oh my when I tell you, like, I was, like, nervous. Like, my heart was beating. I was like, this is a moment, seeing every vote. Fantastic editing. I loved
Fantastic
it.
editing. I think everybody thought, except for me, thought that he was definitely gonna play his idol because why would they show all of the
Yeah.
votes?
Mhm.
Um,
Great
incredible 10
choice.
out of 10. Great choice, great choice.
Mhm.
Obviously, Q does not play his idol, and he goes home with an idol in his pocket, and we are going to the finale episode of Survivor 46. One more episode, I believe it's 2 or 3 hours, 2 hours of the actual episode and probably an hour of, reunion. Um, and I can't believe it's almost over.
I can't believe it. This episode made me so excited, and, like, that whole last chunk with the showing of the boats, playing the idol, made me so excited for the finale.
Yep, I agree. I agree. Also, did you notice that Jeff was calling it the finale? Like, if you win this, he didn't say you're gonna be in the final 5. He said you're gonna be in the finale. I feel like I've never heard him call
Mm.
it by the episode rather than it being called by, like, the number of people still in the game.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't pick up on that.
That interesting?
Interesting.
I don't love when he
Yeah, I
does
wonder
that, but whatever. Okay.
Mm,
So it's the time of the episode where we're about to go to our commercial break to get into some of the questions that were sent in a little bit before the episode, but also during in the chat that I was able to catch up and see. But I always like to say, Cara, is there anything that you wanted to talk about this episode that we were not able to, we haven't covered yet, or you want to talk about further?
hmm. I feel like we covered a lot, like, pretty much everything, but there was one thing where like, did you notice that a few people were wearing Q skirts at the
Yes.
tribal council, which I thought was pretty funny? And also, like, him having the idol in the Q skirt was a very, like, full circle moment,
Such a full circle moment.
and yeah. And also
I
just
think this
yeah,
it was a great episode.
it was. It was a great episode. I think that's all I had to say.
I mean, great episode, 10 out of 10. And we'll get into the questions that y'all sent right after this very quick commercial break. So stay tuned.
Hi, Survivor Now podcast listeners. I am Katie from KT Designs, better known as Katie Tedesco Art on both Instagram and Etsy. I have been designing and selling Survivor products for over 7 years at my Etsy shop, including replicas like hidden immunity idols and Survivor trading cards with all of the players' stats on the back. I am so grateful for Survivor Now for giving me this shout out and helping me reach even more superfans. I love listening to their podcast. So if you are looking for some really unique reality TV products for yourself or to give a superfan in your life, come check out my Etsy shop at www.etsy.com/shop/KatieTedescoArt.com.
All right, everybody, it's time for social hour where we're going to get to some questions that were sent in. If you have any questions while you're watching this, make sure to send them into the caption. I also want to add the thing that I've been holding this whole time is kind of looks like the Katie Tedesco playing cards, but it's of me. I got this in the mail. A couple of days ago by Russell, or maybe like a week ago, from Russell Muscle, because I partner with him with the puzzles. Link in my bio. And I just have had this next to me, and I like a pointer. I like to use my surroundings. But I just think it's so funny that like
Mhm.
that looks. It's like I'm a Survivor player.
That's so funny. Yeah. It's
Um,
foreshadowing.
foreshadowing. Right? Okay, let's get into the questions. I want to start off with one that we got in the chat on YouTube. Ellie Leggett. If you were on the island, would you add any chili oil to your Chinese reward, or is that too risky? Great question.
Ooh.
It's too risky for me. I love spicy food, but my stomach is so reactive.
Yeah, me too.
I think I would have the opposite problem that Liz has. And I don't think that chili oil would help that at all.
Yeah. I feel like eating out there after not eating for so long is just so risky, you know? You just gotta you
Yeah.
can't be too risky. Even just eating
No.
is risky.
I think like drinking sweet drinks is risky. I think like, when they ever win like a
Mhm.
pastry award, I'm like, get that away from me. Absolutely not. That would ruin my system.
Mhm.
No, thank you. But like,
Yeah.
we'll eat it.
No.
But absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay.
Mhm. It's the
So
basics.
just stick to no, literally give me rice and some kind, and I know that they give you rice. Or maybe rice and like a protein and water, but like cold water, and that's the reward.
Yeah. Maybe some ice, you know?
Ice. Yeah, give me something cold, like ice water.
Yeah.
Maybe I could add some like a little bit of spices on it, but I want it to be bland. Plain pasta, nothing on it.
Mhm. Ooh, like pasta with butter or something.
I don't even know if I could do butter. I
That would
worry that that would wreck
no
me.
butter.
Dry pasta.
Just dry pasta. You know, I feel like waking up in the middle of the night out on the island, I feel like a cold glass of water really would, like, hit the spot.
It would absolutely. You know what a reward should be in the future? It should be, you know how in Millennials versus Gen X, what's his name? Alex? No, Figgy? No, that was the girl. Taylor. Got it. Taylor
Mhm.
got like he stole some of that food and he buried it, and that was his like little cash.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
should be you get an ice machine and you can go and get ice whenever you want and you can share it with people if you want. But if
Mhm.
you don't want to, you don't have to. And I feel like that's the reward that I would lose my mind over if I didn't win.
That's so good. Even just, like, being able to, like, chew on some ice, I feel like would just be so nice out there.
I mean, it sounds good right now, and I'm living,
It does.
in I could use some ice right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Um,
I think they need to add that to the rewards. Add it to the sanctuary.
add it to the sanctuary where good things happen, and also ice. That's what that's a new catchphrase, and also ice. Um,
Yeah.
okay, this is not a question, but I have to put this up there. Dakota Anderson just goes eggs, which whenever anybody says anything that's just like eggs, I must share. I must retweet. I must eggs. Agreed. No other context needed.
Mhm.
Okay, so this
Thanks.
question was from Dan from my live earlier today, so it wasn't from now, but I thought it was a really interesting thing to discuss. Dan asks, who wins in a Maria, Charlie, Kenzie final three? And I'll give you a second to think about this, Cara, but I think what I would need to do is to go through each jury member and think which way that they would vote. Do you have an instinct on who you think would win that?
I think it would be Kenzie. I feel like if Kenzie's there, I think she wins.
I think you're right. I think you're right. And at first I was like, oh, it's going to be a tight one. And I still think it's tight. But if you break it
Yeah.
down, Venus is not voting for Maria. That's not going to happen.
No.
I think Tiffany is a guaranteed vote for Kenzie.
Mhm.
I think Ben is a guaranteed vote for Kenzie. So that's
Yep.
2, I think, guaranteed votes for Kenzie. I think Q is voting Charlie. Or maybe Maria.
Over Maria?
You're right. I
I
think
think
maybe
he would vote Maria.
you're right. I think Q votes Maria. I think who do you think Soda would vote for?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe Kenzie. I have no idea.
I could see Soda
Did she
voting.
interact with any of them?
I don't remember how the split was. The
Oh
split
yeah,
was
I guess all the girls were together, right?
No, I think
Was that
it was
that one?
no. It was all of Yanu plus Hunter and Ben. And then it was Soda, no, Ben and Tim. All of Yanu, Hunter, Ben, and Tim. And then it was Soda, Charlie, Maria, Liz, Tevin.
So
and
she'd probably
somebody
give it to either Maria or Charlie.
I think you're right. I think she would go for either Maria or Charlie. I think Tevin would go Kenzie.
Yeah. I
think Venus would probably go Kenzie because I don't think she's going Maria. I think there's a slight chance she goes Charlie, but I think like at the very end, I think that she would maybe go Kenzie. I don't know. I just think it keeps breaking down to Kenzie winning by like 1 vote.
Yeah, I really can see her winning. If she's there, she's a winner for sure.
Daryl thinks that Ben, Tiffany, and Venus would vote for Kenzie. And I think Soda and Tevin are going to be based on who has the best Final Tribal Council performance. I think they're like in the air.
I agree.
I think this is
it's all going to depend on that.
I think it's a very interesting thought experiment. Like, I think it's a good thing to talk about. I don't know. Maybe I'm also biased because I just really want Kenzie to win. But, okay. Jacob Wenger, I think, Wegner, from TikTok says, why aren't they smart enough to get Charlie out?
I know. They don't see him as a threat at all.
They don't see him as a threat at all. And I find that incredibly interesting. And here, I think that's because he's playing at Maria a little bit too much.
Yeah. I guess he's doing that to keep it off of him, but like, it's so much no one thinks he's doing anything.
Yeah. Like, that's why I think it reminds me of Carolyn. Like, us fans were like, she's incredible. She's so smart. She's doing so much. How don't they see it? Well, they don't say it because she was keeping it off of her so much. And I think you get to Final Tribal Council, you can't change everyone's perspective of you. You can't do a 180 in that
Right.
moment. So I really think it would be difficult. I think he has to really claim a move. He has to do something.
He really needs to get Maria out.
Really, and he really has to say,
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah. He need that'll be a big turning point for him if that happens. And then I think would boost him up in the end.
I agree. I totally agree. Okay, this isn't really a question, but an interesting thing to talk about. Hayden 4R says IDK if they rehide idols at 5, though. I think there was a discussion in the comments on TikTok. But I do think it's interesting to talk about. Oh, and Jonathan even asks, don't they go to a new beach when it goes to Final 5? Last season or the last couple of seasons, Jeff said, gather your things, you're going to a new beach. I don't remember him saying that at the end of Tribal Council. Do you?
No, yeah, no, he didn't say that this time.
So do you think
That's
they're just
interesting.
on their own beach?
I think so, because I feel like why would they not include that, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that'd be random to just throw at us in the next episode.
Yeah, I totally agree. And here's the thing, they do rehide idols. So if you recall, Dean in 39 found an idol when they were moved to a new beach because an idol was rehid when they were at Final 5. And he tried to use that at the end in his end game to be like, I should win because I didn't have to use this or whatever he did. So, you know, they do hide them because you can use them at 5. So I do think that like we will see an idol rehidden. Will it be used and will it be used properly? Is the main question.
Oh my gosh. I feel like probably not. I feel like whoever finds it will be going home.
Maybe. It's the car curse, but
you
for
never
46.
know. You never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. But yeah, I think it's interesting that we don't know what kind of twist is coming our way for the finale.
Yeah.
They didn't tease at any twist. They just kind of teased the finale itself. So I'm super excited
Did
to
Jeff
see
say fire? Did he mention that?
No, I don't think he did.
Interesting.
Getting rid of the Final 4 fire?
New finale?
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
That would be.
I would love that. Okay. Daryl had a question earlier. Daryl asks, who do you think deserves to win the game thus far?
Ooh.
Big question,
I
Daryl.
think Charlie.
You think Charlie?
I'm going to go with Charlie. I'm rooting for him. I think he is doing great with everyone.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's so good. I think it could be I think anyone really, but like if I'm going purely off of like I don't know. Kenzie has been on the right side of the vote every single time except for once. She and the Yanu, the other two people on Yanu were the deciding factor in the Tim vote. They were the deciding factor in the Tevin vote. They were a part of so much. She won an immunity challenge. And you know, I think that she has those social bonds plus, which I don't usually keep this as a thing, but plus, she technically has gone to the most tribal councils of anybody in the final 5 because they lost 4 or 5 in a row or whatever they did. So I kind of think deserving is a big word. I think that I could definitely see Kenzie winning. I know a lot of people aren't really super high on Kenzie. Speaking of which, Luke says, love Kenzie, but what has she done to win? I think she's done good. But here's the thing. I could see the path for anybody left in the final 5 to win if we're totally disregarding the edit.
Right. I feel like they're almost not totally, but like they're like all really close to the same level, I feel like.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Not equally on the same level, but I feel like they're all pretty close where they come to where they're landing right now. Like they really all any one of them could win.
I agree. I think that like if we disregard the edit, I think even Ben has a chance because of his social game. People really do like him a lot. And I think that he's made a lot of friends. He hasn't made big moves, but if he says the right words in Final Tribal Council, like, you know, you never know what's going to happen. But and people will be like, but what about Liz? Liz. I also see Liz, you know, she can go up there and be like, I wasn't chosen for things. I wasn't eating. Because I wasn't eating, I couldn't look for idols. I couldn't do this, but I still brought all of it. And I was also the turning point in most of these votes. The only one that I was left out of was Hunter. But after that, I was the one that you came to for the Tiffany vote. And without me, Tiffany would not be over there. You know what I mean? Like I think there's an argument for everybody. If they put the words that they need to, like if they string the right words together at Final Tribal Council, I could see it happening. You only need 4.
I completely agree. I think any one of them could win. I could see Liz being the winner of the season. I think that would make so much sense.
That would be incredible. Rumored billionaire Liz wins $1 million.
It'd be so good.
Okay, we have a question. This one was from TikTok. We have this question from Alex. Leon. Will Charlie find out Maria voted for him?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I think in this at this point in the game, there's so few people left. That I think he can deduce what happened. And I think it would be very silly for Maria to lie and be like, it wasn't me, because like everybody else is like, well, there were 2 votes. Q was one of them. It wasn't me. It wasn't Liz, and it wasn't Kenzie or whatever. So by process of elimination, it has to be you.
It was her. Yeah. And I feel like now, like, this gives him, like, the okay to like, I feel like he's not gonna feel as bad now targeting her, because I feel like we could tell, like, he feels kinda bad that he would have to get her out, and I feel like this is like, "You know what? Okay, she was doing it to me this time. She can go now."
Yeah. Daryl thinks that Charlie was aware that Maria was coming for him. I don't remember that. Maybe. There's a very good chance.
No, I don't think so.
I
feel like in his confessionals, he was talking about how he didn't think she was considering it at all.
Yeah. So I think it's a very, going to be a very interesting beginning of the episode next week. And I am so, so excited about it. Just see what happens, the fallout of it all.
I can't wait. I love the aftermath, the next thing.
Oh my God, me too.
It's so
all
good.
Right. We have one more question. This one is from M. M says, do you think the bitterness will taint the jury vote more than usual this year? We did see a couple of people, every single person on the jury was blindsided. Not a single person wasn't. And so I do think bitterness is a real thing to think about this close to the end.
Yeah, I think bitterness will come into play. I know we said like anyone could win and we were like talking about where the votes can go, but I think the jury is going to be a little bitter, especially towards certain people. Like Venus to Maria,
Well, Venus to Maria, I guess. But I feel like there's nobody really else to be bitter to anymore. Like I feel like there was some like butting of heads. Maybe Tevin could be bitter towards Liz if Liz is in the final 3, because Liz is the reason why Tevin's over there. But I feel like a lot of the bitterness is between jury members right now.
Yeah. I don't know. Something about them. I just feel like they're going to be like, I feel like they're going to be like a little sassy or something when they talk. I feel like they're going to bring the spice to the Final Tribal Council.
Please give a memorable Final Tribal Council speech. I'm begging you. Give me something that I can quote.
I feel like I think it's going to be spicy.
I want it. Thank you everybody for sending in questions, for commenting commenting your questions in the comments. I love the questions is always my favorite part of the episode, because I just think it really opens up the conversation to talk about, all of this really fun stuff. But we have come to the awards season of our episode. as always, we're starting it off with the sweet thing of the episode. Cara, why don't you tell the new listeners what the sweet thing means, what it is?
Okay, so I have a podcast with my cousin Kateri called the Sweet Things Podcast. And at the end of every episode, we give our sweet thing of the week, which is usually like a drink or a snack or something food related that we are enjoying. And so for Survivor, it's a little different because there's not always food, but there's been a lot of food, ironically, this season. But this week, my sweet thing is the little flowers that Kenzie painted on her face during tribal council. I thought that was so cute. I loved that.
That was so cute. I love that's such a good sweet thing. I love that. I actually chose a sweet thing this week because it looked so tasty, and this mine is actually food. At one point, I'm a vegetarian, if you guys didn't know. And I've always been a vegetarian. And at one point, I am 97% sure that Charlie at the reward ate like a nice little big thing of fried tofu. And there is nothing that I love more than fried tofu. I think it's so, so tasty. And I went, that's what I would want on the island. I want a nice big thing of fried tofu. And I just went, yeah, I saw it happen and I go, that's my sweet thing. That's it right there.
There you go.
It's actually savory.
You know what?
So
you know what's funny? I saw a tweet too that they were like, Liz is allergic to everything unless it's on reward. Then Liz isn't allergic anymore. And I was like, that's so funny. She really can eat all the reward food.
Eat all the reward food. It's so funny. I went to when I went to Chicago, I actually got to talk to Liz a little bit. And she was like, yeah, I basically eat steak every single meal because that's like one of the things she can eat. And somebody that was with her was like, and is that a problem? And she goes, no, it's actually incredible. I love it. I get to eat steak all the time. And I saw her eating that beef and I went, I bet you she loves that. She loves that.
She was thriving.
Absolutely. Sorry, guys. Okay. Now let's talk about the social butterfly of the episode. If you are new to the podcast, our social butterfly is an award that we give out at the end of each episode, and it only refers to the episode that we just watched, not the season overall. And it's who we think did the best socially in the episode. Cara, why don't you start off? Who is getting the social butterfly award for you this episode?
I've been going back and forth with this because I'm torn between two people that I feel like could like deserve this. So I'm a little stuck, but okay, I'm gonna go with Charlie because that was like my first initial thought. Because I feel like this was a great social episode for him. Like he was able to get Kenzie, Liz, and Ben on his side to vote Q with him. And I mean, that alone was just great. And he also won the reward, bringing Liz and Kenzie. Great social aspect for him. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think he's doing great socially. He really is.
Okay.
And no one has a target. Well, he kind of has a little target, I guess, but not a big one.
There are only 5 people left, so there's only so many votes that you have to dodge. Everyone in the comments section on the TikTok is agreeing with you. They're saying, yes, it's Charlie social or goes to Charlie. Love that. I almost chose Charlie, but I also went with my first instinct, my first gut instinct, which was Kenzie. And I think this episode, I think the reason why Charlie is still in the game right now is because Kenzie and Liz were able to lie to Maria so well. And I think that lie comes with good social capital. I think that, you don't believe somebody if you don't want to believe them. And so I think if that Maria wanting to believe both Liz and Kenzie, I think is a great thing. I think also the fact that her and Ben came back together after Ben accidentally wrote down Kenzie's name. I think she realizes that it's more important to have these friendships. It's more important to take care of each other. And whether or not it was a social, deliberate thing for her to take care of him, I do think that it's a good social game. It is what it is. I think it's a good social game. And so I think that, Kenzie is really building friends over there on the jury, and she's building the potential to have friends over there on the jury. And I think that, I think that's really, really important. I mean, we're on a podcast called Survivor Social, and I think that I'm seeing her build those social bonds every single episode and very much this episode. I think that I've only ever given Kenzie the social award like once or twice this whole season. But I think this is the one where I just think that she really did incredible. And I do believe that Charlie would not be here had Kenzie and Liz not lied well.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, if you lie, if you lie to somebody who doesn't want to believe you, they're not going to believe you. But if you lie to somebody who wants to believe you and they want to be like, yes, we're on the same team, then they're way more likely to believe you. And I think that that is really what made me swing the pendulum over towards Kenzie. But I think it's a really tough race between Kenzie and Charlie right now because they are both, doing the social game like nobody's business.
Yeah, if I didn't say Charlie, it was Kenzie because just the vote alone and her and Liz being like that deciding, is it gonna be Charlie? Is it gonna be Q? That was huge. And all the Ben stuff and everything. She's really doing great.
She really is. She really is. Well, that's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for everyone who was here chatting with us, talking with us. We had so much fun. I always love, being able to talk Survivor with you guys. Cara, why don't you tell us where we can find you and anything new you're doing right now?
Yeah, you can follow me at Sweet Things Podcast on Instagram. You can listen anywhere podcasts are heard. We drop new episodes on Thursdays, and I'm on Instagram at XOX_Cara.
Hear more of her sweet things of the last week. Wasn't the sweet thing of the week the same thing that was your sweet thing?
Yeah. Yep, my sweet thing was Twizzlers, and Jeff pulled out Twizzlers, and that was my sweet thing. Double sweet thing.
Worlds collide.
Yeah.
If you don't follow me on the internet, you should follow me. I'm Survivor_simulation on TikTok. I have a lot of fun there talking about the episode. And I'm also just at Tegwyth on Instagram. I did want to do a little plug really quickly before you guys leave. If you are coming to the Bryce and Wen Presents next week, I'm going to be at the. Are you going to either, Cara?
Yes, I'm going to be there both days.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to be there both days too. I'm going to be there. Tuesday is karaoke. Wednesday night is obviously the show. If you don't have tickets, I would go check to see, if they're still available. I know that they said they sold out, but I sometimes think that they, add some more. The thing that I wanted to share is if you were there in New York for the premiere, it was also Bryce and Wen premiere. I had really fun buttons that I had made up. And I had people come up to me and say like something, my winner pick is so-and-so. And then they would get a cute little button. But I only made one of each button. So if you came up and your winner pick was gone, sorry, the winner pick was gone. For the finale, I wanted to do something kind of similar because I thought it was just so much fun. I thought it, really fostered this really fun like sense of community. So I'm doing the same kind of design, but instead of giving out buttons, I'm going to give out stickers. I have one for each of the finalists, final 5. And I only have 24 of each name of each player. So they are limited quantities and it's going to be very, very busy. I haven't come up with like what the fun little thing is that you're going to have to come up and say to me or a challenge or whatever it is. But keep an eye out on my socials if you're going to be at the finale to find out what you need to do in order to get a sticker. Because I think they're so fun. And I think it's going to be so much fun to, meet you guys, talk to you guys, and throughout the finale, people are going to have those like fun little stickers on their chests. I think it'll be great.
That's so fun.
Yeah, I love it. So, keep an eye out for that. So go follow me on @Tegwyth. I'll post what you guys need to do either on my story or in the main feed so that we can all have a grand old time with the finale next week, 6 days away. It's crazy.
Can't wait. So excited.
One last little thing to note. We are most likely going to postpone this episode next week. It's most likely not going to be on Thursday at 9 p.m. We're going to come up with a different date and time for that just because the finale week is such a big deal and there's so much to do. I believe Ben has a concert that night and we cannot miss Ben's concert.
We have to be there.
So please keep your ears to the ground to find out when the actual time we're going to be going live to talk about the finale episode. And we might have a fun guest on that as well. This week, Stock Watch, as always, Friday at 2 p.m. Got Something For You is on Saturday at 3 p.m. Go listen to those incredible podcasts. I know that they're super excited to cover this episode. And as always, remember to like and subscribe to Survivor Now on YouTube and Spotify. Cara, do you have any final words to say to the folks?
Thanks for tuning in. Can't wait to, talk about the finale.
I know.
Watch the finale. I'm just excited.
So excited. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. We will see you next week. And don't forget to stay